Hi friends, welcome to this Jersey Girls home. My name is Vicky. We're getting ready for the season. Be a friend, like, subscribe, and leave a heart in the comments. Gardening season has begun, and if you were like me, you took a little bit of a break before that started. We did not do much canning prior to now. Canning season is gonna be crazy. Real quick, I just wanted to say that I also have my recipe books out because that is something that is going to be important for making sure I'm prepared to preserve. Now, you can preserve in more than one way. You can do canning, water bath canning, pressure canning, there's a lot of options. You can dehydrate food. You can freeze food, and you can freeze dry food. There are some great methods, and as always, I will be doing all of them this year. So with that, I got some tips on how to make that work, okay? So first things first, you need to make sure your pantry area is set and ready to go. We're getting ready. Okay, friends, so we need to get our pantry area cleaned up. Cleaning your pantry area and taking inventory are really great first steps to where you need to get started. As you can see, I do have some empty spaces here. What we need to do is kind of evaluate, what are we lacking? What did we use so much of that we need to make more? Or what do I come down here for and I'm out of? Now, some of my problems here arrive here. This is our pasta shelf, and as you can see, the only thing left is ketchup, which is clearly not pasta sauce, so that doesn't work too well for us. I did not have space in other spots for it, but now I do have a space here for ketchup, so I think I'm going to move that over. Get these put in here. I actually didn't end up using our ketchup too much this year. I don't know what happened. I don't know why we didn't get that used, but we didn't. But we have barbecue sauces. Quite the variety, and I'm not going to go through everything just because this isn't a pantry tour. This is more of a let's get ready for canning season and preservation. So I wrote down a list of my tomato necessities for this year that I need to can or attempt to can. And a lot of them are sauces. So this pasta shelf here was filled with tomato sauces, and now it's been empty for a couple weeks. So I know that what I did wasn't enough. I need more, and that's fine. I totally anticipated us just making ends meet with it, and we did not. And I think it's only honestly because my kids loved the sauce so much that they actually ended up eating it more often. So that's okay with me because they were eating fresh vegetables that were preserved without chemicals. So that makes me really happy. Some of the new ones we tried this past year was the roasted rustic pasta sauce. My kids absolutely loved it. As well as the Italian style tomato sauce and the vodka sauce base. Those were some new sauces we tried that they really, really loved, and I'm going to make a lot more of those this year. Ones we've had before is the pressure cooked pasta sauce, which is also really good and my kids really love it, but it does take a lot more time to make, so I probably would do a lot more water bath canning this year so that I can get more jars on the shelf with sauce that they like faster, because the tomatoes pour in and they pour in all at once and you got to get them done. Otherwise, they're filling up your freezer But I want to fill up my freezer with other stuff. I don't want to put my tomatoes in the freezer because I want them on my shelf. There is that recipe that we have used. And then there are also some other ones we're going to try this year. We have also had the oven roasted marinara, which is also very good. I did not get to that last year just because it takes a little bit more time to get those tomatoes roasted. The flavor is definitely worth it, and I hope to get to that this year. But last year was just it was like a marathon, like there was no breaks, and so I didn't get to that one. But this year I'm going to work on making less of the pressure cooked pasta sauce so that I can devote more time to the other ones and hopefully get some oven roasted marinara on the shelf as well. There is a end of summer pasta sauce. I think it might actually be a pressure cooked one. I didn't write that down, but that'll be another good one for us to try this year. I want to make some tomato soup. Pizza sauce, because that is something that I usually just take from one of the jars. We'll try that. We made a 2-in-1 barbecue sauce last year. Half of it was used to make sweet and sour barbecue sauce, and half of it was used to make Stampede style barbecue sauce. We really, really, really love the Stampede style barbecue sauce. I only have a couple jars left. So that is something that I'm going to make again, but I'm going to skip making this part. I'm just going to make the double batch of this one, which you can do. We still have a ton of peach barbecue sauce because I made like 4 batches of it the one year that we got like, I don't know, we got like 3 or 4 bushels off our one tree. So we still do not have to make barbecue sauce, peach barbecue sauce. We will be freeze drying peaches or dehydrating them if we get another abundance. Last year we didn't get many peaches, so it is good to take advantage of the years that they come in really good to make the things that you like, even if it's more than you're going to eat in 1 year, because these jars last, baby. And then my last thing that I know I want to make with tomato sauce is the pork and beans in tomato sauce. Now, I skipped the pork in this one. I just did beans and tomato sauce. It is a really great base for baked beans, or you can jazz them up really easily, or you could just eat it just like this. It's very flavorful. The tomatoes are fresh in here, and that is what I love the most. So yes, please add that to my list. And then of course we're going to have some random fun canning projects. There are my jams, fruits and juices and fun stuff. We have tons of black raspberry jam, so much that I have overflow up here, but it is actually down here. So my black raspberry plants have not, I think I just planted them last year, maybe the year before. I think I planted the year before, those ones didn't, something happened, and then last year I planted one. Well, there's not enough to make a huge batch, so last year I did go to a local pick farm and picked a ton of black raspberries and loaded us up with that jam. So I don't have to worry about that. So that is one that I love to make ice cream with. But I am super duper duper in desperate need of applesauce. We have no more applesauce left. So that is something that will be on my list of things to make. And then strawberry jam is really the only other important jam over here. Most of my fruits, when I make them, we don't go through them fast enough to need to make them all the time. So, like we have maraschino cherries, and I did not realize how big of a batch it was going to make. I would have just halved it from the beginning. But I have a boatload of maraschino cherries, so that will last us for years. That's not going to get made again. But I do have a video for it, so if you're interested in seeing that video on maraschino cherries, I will put it in the comments below. I have 4 jars of pie filling left, and that is it. I am not sure if I'm going to make more of that or not. It's not something that we ended up using like I thought we would. So, to be determined. So, some of the things that I do want to end up trying, some fun things. I have lots of rhubarb growing this year, and I was thinking about making a blueberry rhubarb jam. I thought that would taste really good in baked goods, so I might make that. It's called rhubarb jam. That is on my list, and if I end up with the ability to do that, then I will. Something else that I really wanted to make that would be fun is praline syrup. I can make more strawberry jalapeno jam because this strawberry jalapeno jam was absolutely delicious. But I really need to make more strawberry jam, so we're going to see what happens. Strawberry season this year in New Jersey is not looking so hot. We've had a lot of rain, and I mean a lot of rain. Way more than we're used to. And so I don't know if we're going to lose a lot of strawberries to rot or what's going to happen, but priorities number one is strawberry jam. Ooh, I also need to make more honey lemon apple jam because I really like to cook my chicken with that. So good. Then we're going to have peppers. Well, we are loaded with cowboy candy, so that we do not need to make. Maple pickled jalapenos came out really, really, really good, and I want to try to make it with just like maple pickled peppers, sweet peppers too, because it was really, really good. So we're going to work on that. If we have a good cucumber year, we will attempt more pickling recipes on our hunt to find the best ones. And we are getting pretty low on mixed veggies, potatoes. We could use more corn, but we don't need to worry about that unless, like, I don't grow our own corn for this, so this can be done at any point, just like regular beans can. So on flow days, that'll be the best time to do those. Ooh, cacciatore sauce was another one that we really liked this year that I need to make more of. I need to write that down on my list. See why it's good to come through here and just check it all out and get stuff written down so that you don't forget. Okay, let's see. We can make some meals in jars. That's always fantastic. Let's talk about freezing. Freezing is something that I don't like to do too much of because you have limited space, right? But frozen pesto, delicious. I think we have like one little container that I found like buried in the back of the freezer of our pesto that we made last year, and so I cannot wait to make new batches. So good. All right, and then let's see. The hydrating and freeze drying will definitely be happening. We really don't eat a lot of the freeze dried foods right now because I know that they have such a long lifespan that I feel like they make really good backup. So if our food supply is low, with food prices rising, it's always a really great option. Like when we were having issues with food pricing and bananas were stuck at the ports or something, I think that's what it was. We ended up using a lot of our freeze-dried bananas, so that was awesome to have. And then another thing with the egg shortage and the egg prices skyrocketed, we were able to take advantage of some freeze-dried eggs for cooking. I still have, because I'm a slacker, I still have a ton of freeze-dried cayenne peppers, or no, dehydrated cayenne peppers to make things with, as well as some other things. Something I did freeze-dry tomatoes last year, and honestly, they lose a lot of the red color, so I don't know how I feel about that. Does anyone have info on that? Because I don't know. It just looks weird. And I think I also ended up freeze drying a lot of like the seeds and skins, and I will not do that again because I just don't think the flavor is there like if you freeze dried the sauce. I will try to definitely can most of my tomato products. And I think because we had such a huge, like we live in New Jersey, we have like phenomenal tomatoes. They taste out of this world. If you live in the South and you come up here and have tomatoes, you're going to think yours are terrible. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the weather, our growing conditions, a combination of everything, but our tomatoes are the bomb. So I don't need to freeze dry tomato slices or anything like that because we eat them until we're sick of them. So I think the freeze drying would be good for tomato sauce so that you can thicken up sauces. I think that will be the only purpose in the future for me to put tomatoes through the freeze dryer. Otherwise, I really didn't find that the tomatoes being freeze dried were worth it. Sorry. But peppers freeze dried made fantastic flavoring for spices that I used. It actually did really good with that, and that would be an option if I needed it. I really still like dehydrating. The reason I like it a lot is because when the food dehydrates, it takes up a lot less room and it's a lot less fragile. So if you want something to come out like making tomato slices and freeze drying them, they look pretty, but they are you have to be so careful if you don't want to powder them, and they still take up the same amount of room that they did before they were freeze dried. So it takes up a lot of space to freeze dry stuff still, unless you're powdering it down. And dehydrating shrinks the heck out of things, so then it isn't a problem with doing that. So it takes up a lot less space. And I like that. Okay, so we have clean up your pantry, inventory. Now we're going to check our canning and freezing supplies. Okay, so you can see here I have all of my canning jars. That's a little messy right there, but all the canning jars are clean and put in by size. We have quarts and quarter pints down here. We have pints, half pints, and our wide mouth jars up here. Some other items that will be really handy to have on hand and to make sure that you have ready to go are your canners. So water bath canner, pressure canners of 2 different sizes, and this isn't like a smart canner. It does water bath canning, steam canning, pressure canning, all of those items, but it is small, so it doesn't do huge batches, which does come in handy at times. But it's really good for like if I fill this pressure canner up and I have overflow that isn't enough for a whole nother canner, it usually fits in there perfectly. Okay guys, we're back upstairs out of that pantry. Over here I have a canning cart, and on this cart I have at the very bottom rings, my extra holders, jar holders, and trays that can go into my canning pot. I have pectin, Pomona's pectin, Sure Gel, low sugar Sure Gel, as well as the liquid pectin. I have clear gel. If you want to make something thick, this is like the best product to use for that. Extra crunch, the pickle crunch stuff. It's supposed to make things crunchier. I've never used anything to help keep my pickles crunchier, so I'm hoping that that's going to kind of help with my dislike of home canned pickles. Because I really love pickles. They're one of my favorite things and I buy them all the time. So if I can figure out a way to keep them crispy that I like, then I will be happy. So we're testing that out this year. I also have a pack of pickle mix to use. I bought it last year, but we didn't get enough pickles to really do that large of a batch, and I just didn't get to that one. Okay, I have funnels, cheesecloth, fruit fresh, citric acid, and lots of canning jar lids. This will be my first year trying Superb lids, so I will let you know what I think. I normally just use Ball or whatever generic they have, but I really don't like Walmart's new generic version, so I ordered Superb lids because I read really good reviews about them, and so we'll see how they work. More funnels, because you can never have too many funnels during canning season, or jar holders, or extra large ladles. I have my pressure canning weight here, and then in here I just have some kind of odd end things, like in case I run into needing more pots for canning. I have a little trinket thing that can go on the bottom and keep them off the bottom of the thing. I have my open jar lids, a little strainer, cheesecloth that's already opened, labels, and another weight. And then I just have some more canning labels underneath this box. So that's what's in this cart, and it is well stocked. It is stocked enough for me to get through this season, so I don't have to go buy anything else now. I'm good. I do have more of these in the basement because we will be going through hundreds of jars as we get through this season. So having lots and lots of canning lids is extremely important for me. If I were low, then I would need to go buy more because I know that's something that I'm going to need a lot of, and I don't want to run out at the worst time. Another thing I like to do is just kind of go through my recipe books and guide books to find whatever it is that I'm hoping to get accomplished. I want to make sure that I have all the ingredients that I would need to make these things. Even in the freeze fresh book, let me find, okay, so in the freeze fresh book, that's where I get my basil recipe from, and in that it's going to list my ingredients. So I'm going to want to make sure that I have these ingredients on hand, so when my basil is growing and it's ready to get preserved, that I am prepared to preserve it. So things that I'm going to make sure I have: Parmesan cheese, grated. I'm going to make sure that I have plenty of that for this. Walnuts. I always have garlic, so I'm not worried about that. And olive oil, very good olive oil. I really like Sonoma Pantry olive oil. I'll actually go get that so I can show you what it is. I just purchased more to make sure that I had it for this growing season. So I went through this whole jar last year and just bought another one from Home Goods, is where I seem to find this one in stock. And it's honestly a great price. It was $13.99, and this will give me our year's worth of pesto. So there you go. So this year, when I went to the store, I bought the pickle crisp because I saw that for the first time in our store. It's like never there ever. So always out of stock. So I grabbed that when I found it, and the olive oil because I know that's really important. Also for freezing, your freezing containers are really important. Do you have things to freeze your food in if that's what you're doing? Over here, I have my freezing containers. So I have these ice cream containers. And then I have lots of these containers that they're deli containers, right? Like that's what they call them, deli containers, and they can freeze. And I have them in varying sizes. So there's like this one, which I would call medium large, medium, small, and then here's my large container, which is like a quart size container. So I like to use those, and I'm going to make sure that I have plenty to get my basil and extra leftover goodies frozen in. Last thing that you want to make sure you do is to get your recipes together and all the ingredients that you're going to need to make the best products. I hope that helps you prepare for this season because I know it's right upon us and it's coming in hot. And if you're like me, you're going to be doing this like every day. The garden comes, the produce comes at the farmers markets, the sales come at the grocery stores on a lot of the fresh goods, and that is the time to preserve them. Preserve them at their peak so they are the most nutrient dense and flavorful. Okay guys, thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to check out some of my old preserving videos from last year so that you can see what I did last year. And then don't forget that the Every Bit Counts challenge will happen in August, which I'm so excited about. Plus, we'll be canning before then. The garden's growing. It's coming in. Coming in good. Thanks. Bye.